Welcome back to the South Metro Scoop. My name is Brady, and today we got Morley and Nicole Nelson. They made a whole
Hi.
movie here in Dakota County, in Inver Grove Heights specifically. Now they got a nice little charity event, a nice red carpet screening for the movie at the Eagan Emagine Theater. So we just wanted to get them on before that and kind of drum up some hype for it. And we're going to have a giveaway with some tickets coming out soon. You'll learn more about that at the end. But yeah, why don't you guys just kind of introduce yourselves and what you've done kind of before this movie?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, my name is Nicole Nelson. I am in investment banking, believe it or not. So I've been in that my whole life. And um, I have been multiple different roles, but currently have to do a lot with change management and communication and project management. So I do a lot with work with individuals to make sure that whatever we're implementing, they understand what the story is going to be and how it's going to impact them and what basically what they can expect. So, boring. I would think it's boring.
It's boring,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. And I'm her husband and I take care of the kids. No, I'm kidding. I've worked on in film and television now for about like 10, 11 years.
Well, no, it's
Uh,
as long as we've been married, so 16.
Wow. Okay, so 16 years I've worked I started off as a technical advisor and then I became a technical director and then I conned an A-list writer to teach me how to write. And he very generously taught me how to write. So I became a writer. I worked on multiple projects. I've written everything from video games to helped on television shows to movies.
Yeah.
And then that evolved into technically directing segments of film or television. The biggest one probably is Hulu has a series called 11/22/63 based on a Stephen King novel.
Hmm.
And I directed the final kind of
Motor.
action segment. It's the recreation of the Kennedy assassination. And so
Which was really cool because they had like cameras of being able to view like kind of like CCTV, so I could log into that camera and watch him work, but in Minnesota while he was in Texas, and I thought that was so cool.
yeah, so they have like a live CCTV feed at Dealey Plaza in Dallas. So I was waving at her and I think she could see me or whatever. But
That was awesome.
then that transitioned into acting. So I went as a theater major at St. John's and then I had this kind of roundabout way of getting back to acting. So I was fortunate enough to get cast in a television series as like a romantic interest against the romantic lead. And then from there I got cast in a independent film with some A-list actors. And I was like super excited about that, but they cut my part and it was right before COVID. So
Nice.
COVID hit and it was just like, oh,
Yeah,
here we go. You're right there. But yeah. So in a nutshell, that's the background, right?
yeah,
Good.
I would
Okay.
say that.
What did you guys kind of come up with the concept for Uncontained? Because I know it was shot during that kind of middle of COVID time.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was so I had written a series for television called Contained.
Yeah.
And I had pitched that. I was having a lot of luck. A lot of people were interested in that. So I pitched to, I don't remember, like, what was it? Bad Robot, Legendary,
HBO.
HBO, Lakeshore.
Yeah.
So they're all interested in it. And
I did the visuals, so
yeah,
that's where I come in my role.
she actually owns our production company.
Yeah,
So she does a lot of the,
CEO stuff.
yeah, well, she's the boss. So we just thought we'd keep it streamlined, boss in the house, boss in the business. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the, I was going around town pitching that, and then because of COVID, we were kind of stuck, and a couple of different people had approached me and said, we'll pay you some money to write a movie starring just one person, and a camera crew of five can follow that one character through the house, and it can look found footage or whatever. And a lot of people were doing that during COVID.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, well, instead of them paying me to do something for them, maybe this is a time I can take one of the scripts I do have and just turn that
Yeah.
into like an intimate introduction into that world. So I think it was between, was it The Entity,
Yeah.
Skinned,
Dead Sexy.
yeah, no, what was the other one? Tin Man.
Tin Man.
So
Yeah.
like four
Diff-
scripts I had, and I thought Uncontained or Contained would be a good one. And
Yeah.
then I asked her, would it be okay if I wrote a script where our kids were the main characters? And she was, I think you were okay with that, right? Like,
It's okay with it.
yeah,
I think later I would be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe 50 million people have seen our children. That's crazy.
yeah,
But yes, I think we were okay with it.
yeah.
And then I said, but I also want to be in the film too.
Well, then that made that easy because
Yeah.
I know them better than I know anybody, and so writing for them was very easy.
Yes.
I didn't ask them to. I wrote the characters to fit their personalities because I think the best acting is not acting,
Right.
right? So I didn't have to ask them to depart from themselves too much.
Mm-mm.
And Brooke, our daughter, was 3 at the time, and there's no acting involved at all. You're
No.
just putting her in
Letting her
situations.
be her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
You put her in situations and just how is she going to react?
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
And then Jack, I'm as a father and as a director, I couldn't be more proud
Hmm.
of someone because he was 7 years old. He never missed a line. He never missed a beat. He performed so well for someone who's never had an acting class. I've never coached him. He had no desire
Mm-mm.
prior to this to going to be in anything involving acting. And there's a moment in the movie that he actually, in the scene, asks for him to be sad, and he actually cried
Like choked up.
during the
Yeah.
shooting. So I couldn't, as a director, I couldn't be more proud of that. Getting a 7-year-old to get in that space and then be able to almost, start to cry.
Yeah.
And then as a father, it's just something that I think as a whole, the film is something that we did as a family that I'll remember and cherish forever. But as a film, it's kind of interesting to have this snapshot of this moment in our lives where we all did something together. And it just, in this case, happens to be a movie.
Yeah.
And it'll be something that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, our kids will be able to watch,
Hmm.
and even our grandkids. And
Yeah.
they'll be able to see, oh, there's mom and there's dad and there's grandpa and there's grandma, and
Hmm.
why'd they have such a small dog, and stuff like that. But it'll be, so it's a little,
We're going back to what the idea was.
oh yeah. So the idea was, how do we make a movie? No, but yeah, no, the idea was, okay, here's something that we can do. Uh, if we can raise enough money, I can get crew to come in.
Hmm.
We're fortunate enough to have 5 acres in Inver Grove,
Yeah.
and like a half an acre in Rosemount. And I just figured, okay, if we shoot this way and that can be one location. If we shoot this way, we can make it look like another location. So in the movie, I think there's about 40 different locations, but essentially we all shot those 40 locations in our backyard.
Yeah.
So I just like, oh, we'll go up the hill and I'll shoot this way and it'll look like totally different place.
Yeah.
So and being creative, but yet still capturing the beauty of, living in Inver Grove Heights is fantastic because we're in an area, we're on a dirt road.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by woods and we're 25 minutes from the airport. So,
Yeah.
that's what we love about being here. Prior to COVID, I was flying to LA once or twice a week, every week. And so I would park at the Easy Park and ride right across from Costco. And sometimes I would leave the car, fly to LA, have a bunch of meetings, come back home, and when it wasn't even like
24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't even charge me. But yeah, or I would just stay there for 3 or 4 days. And the reason I was very happy to do that is because I can't imagine, of all the places that we've been, I mean, this is the best place in the world to live.
So safe. Yes.
Yeah. We love being here. We love being in the South Metro. We love the fact that we're close to, we can get anywhere within a reasonable amount of time.
Yep.
Our kids have a great place to grow up. We have fantastic community
Mhm.
that we just love. And there's just no, I couldn't imagine. There's no place in LA that I would imagine that could compare to where we are now. So that's why I was more than happy to do all that traveling. And then one of the good things to come out of COVID was people ended up adopting Zoom so readily. So then now everything I can just do over Zoom.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice. But um, yeah. What was the question?
Yeah.
That was kind of the main two things I wanted to touch on. I like how you guys did here in Inver Grove Heights, and you said you have property here. Obviously, that makes it a little easier than trying to find some other space. But and then as well as your whole family being in it. I mean, I'm not a huge movie buff or TV buff or anything, but I haven't seen something like that before, where your whole family is being a part of it. And it's kind of like you were saying, it's like a snapshot of what's happening right now in your lives that you're able to look back on in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think, Adam Sandberg,
San
I don't know, Adam
Sandler.
Sandler. Yeah, sorry. Adam Sandberg. Adam Sandler, we have a neighbor named Sandberg. So I don't know. I'm in the list, but so shout out to Elaine. But yeah, Adam Sandler I think he has a wife and two adult kids in a lot of his movies. I don't know if they're just necessarily the main characters in all of them, but
Right.
yeah,
That was the only family I could think of too.
right. But yeah, some people will bring the Sandlers up, but he's a lot more funny than we are. I like to think I'm as funny as he is, but I'm not even close. But yeah, it was a big challenge. Um, it's interesting because I know he's a little insane, but Gary Busey did a movie with, I think it was Dustin Hoffman. I can't remember now, but Jake Busey, his son, was in that movie with him, and Jake Busey was like 5 years old.
Mm.
And there's a scene where Gary Busey's playing his dad in the movie, and he gets mad at the son in the movie, and the reaction on Jake Busey's face. And I just thought, oh my gosh, who would ever put their kid in a movie? Like, that's just not nice. Like, what? Who could do? And then here we are. Our kids are shooting zombies with Nerf guns, and you know,
Yeah, and their dad's face is full of blood.
yeah,
And our daughter is 3.5 years old, and we tell her that it's jam. So but we had to do a lot of that kind of stuff, or we would just I moved out basically with the kids while they were here on set for the most part, especially when we did night scenes. I just wanted them to have some sort of structure and semblance of normalcy because they were going to school still. And
yeah.
I was still working and also being on set. And so there was a lot of, just a lot of different things that we wanted to, supplement while our home was being shared with so many other people. So we went to an Airbnb that was in Inver Grove Heights, whom I absolutely adored this woman and became friends with. And am grateful for, the amenities that she had and offered us as a family. So that was really nice. Shout out to Allison.
Yeah. But yeah, it would have been just insane to have trying to any kind of routine with the kids at night or whatever, because we had so many night shoots with a horror movie.
Yeah.
And so they stayed at an Airbnb locally, and then Nick was still working
I already said all this.
50 to 60 hours a week. I know. But she would come in on set. Not only is she taking care of the kids, because I'm directing everybody, but then she would also act, which she's never done before. So it's always people, well, like when we did the premiere in LA, one of the media outlets was there, and one of the interviewers asked, like, they said, so I noticed on your IMDb page there's quite a few actors that have never acted before. They don't even have real IMDb
No.
pages like this, like Nick Nelson and Jack Nelson and Brooke Nelson. Are they related or whatever? And I said, yeah, they're my family. And she said, well, what is your wife? Like, what other movies has your wife been in? And I said, oh, she's in investment management. And they just started laughing and looking at me like, are you serious? And it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, that's so I'm completely impressed that she was able to pull off the role that she did, in addition to doing all those other things. While I got to go play with the crew and,
It was
you know,
it was fun though. I mean,
yeah,
you're a really good director and writer, obviously, and it was easier for me to um, you know, be the person that you wanted me to be because of how you wrote it, and then also because our kids, it was natural, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And we were in our own home.
Yeah.
So that was very like comfortable.
Right.
And then, like I said, I mean, we got to know these people, 40 people that were on set all the time. And so it did feel like a big family. And I think that everybody fell in love with our daughter, Brookie. And
Yeah,
so
she was.
she was like the set highlight, I would say, because she was running around and um
Yeah, she usually you have on when you work on a project, there's always like the set mom, and that's usually somebody I don't know, it's been everybody from location managers sometimes to wardrobe to whatever, but you always have this like really motherly, matronly figure that kind of takes care of cast and crew. And on our production, we had a set kid.
kid.
And so she would run around and she was just great at breaking down barriers because, you know, that I had never worked with the crew that we had before. And so I didn't know them. And then so to have a dog and a kid on set was really nice because it just makes people relax.
It makes people
And then,
yeah.
um, yeah, it made it thoroughly enjoyable. We bonded immediately, so that was great. And they were all fantastic with the kids and the
Yeah.
dog. So, yeah, that was an excellent experience. It was nice having all local, you know, the crew, local
Equipment.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used there's a big production company in Minneapolis called
Tasty.
and they rent out all the equipment that you need to do a production. And they were very generous with helping us out because
Yes.
we had
Very little budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our budget was tiny compared to when my manager in LA was like, you can't ever tell anyone what the budget is because then
They
no
won't
one,
think it's a quality movie.
right,
Right.
you know, and then they also won't believe you.
Yeah.
And so that's been kind of true because every time I do tell somebody what our budget is, they're like, no, no way. But we were fortunate enough again for Tasty, Mike Hanley's company in Minneapolis, they gave us like a 75% discount. And the post-production company that did our post, like all our editing and coloring the film and oversaw the sound of the film and just anything and everything that puts the film together. Uh, that would have cost us probably a minimum of 250,000
Yeah.
to probably it could have been up to $750,000 worth of work, and they did it for free
Yeah.
because they liked the film so much. So, and then I gained a friend, one of the owners of the company, Charlie Grishevsky.
Yeah.
He just, he's been fantastic, and
Yeah.
we loved they're in Minneapolis as well, but they worked with us and came here a lot.
Yeah.
I know that was fantastic. So it was really nice because it's really weird working in the film industry because you bond with people
So fast, so quickly.
yeah, because you work.
Yes.
I mean, I've been on a lot of productions where a typical day is 14 hours for 30 days straight. And you have to be in a situation where you're just right up in everybody's business because that's how you have to make film. And you end up bonding rather quickly, but then you on day 30, that's it. And everyone goes back to
their own thing. And it's like, wait a second, you feel like,
yeah.
I mean,
You never see them again. Like,
yes.
I've worked on films where actors are from Australia and we still stay in contact, but
it's not like it was.
no, and he's in Australia.
Yeah.
Like, we can't get together. So that part, that's interesting. Whereas, for us, it was, I don't know, I've stayed in contact with a lot of people and built a lot of relationships here because we're here. So.
But the cool thing is that everywhere we walk in our house, we get to have those memories and relive them. And so we get to remember what it was like to clean up everybody's wet winter boots and water and, all the things, but then also how much food we would bring in and share with each other as a family, if a set family. I don't know. It's really special. I never knew how special it was going to be until you start reflecting back on, what you did in that moment. And so like at the time, I didn't know what we were building. I didn't know how that was going to be perceived, but that story I never can say that right, in of itself, of a family, family working together and then having it be our home. And then, having that investment. in time and energy, and then bringing others along for, to help support the vision, is also an extended family. So it's just really special. It was really cool.
I only found out about this because I saw just like a Facebook post that it was shot here in the South Metro, and I found that pretty intriguing. I mean, I didn't really have any expectation when I saw the trailer, but it's like a full Hollywood quality movie that was shot here. And I was kind of
Yeah.
surprised about that. Something that, you'd see in Hollywood was shot here. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and if you had to
But you're not a
give,
movie guy, so maybe that's
Yeah.
why. I mean, but
yeah,
that's
right.
cool. Now we get to have you, you get to be a part of the story, right? And then because of the fact that this is so new to you, it's something that we get to share with you too, Brady.
Yeah. And if you had to give someone like kind of an elevator pitch about what the movie is and the kind of the story, what would you say?
It's the official log line is a mysterious stranger struggles to protect two abandoned children during a viral outbreak that turns people into a feral-like state. I think it's something like that, but it's
Drifter, not stranger, drifter.
drifter. Yeah,
But
mysterious something.
but it's close.
It's interesting because my log line as a writer was much different, and then once the studio started distributing it, their marketing team was like, "No, no, what about this?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, it's not really. You give it away. You give away too much." And then they're like, "What about this?" And then you go back and forth, and eventually you end up with this one. So, but yeah, it's
Is that the elevator pitch that you would say about the synopsis of the story, or is that what you were looking for? Is like what the film is all about, is the elevator pitch? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just what it's about.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about the story itself, like a family films about blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Essentially, it's Home Alone meets The
Walking Dead.
Yeah. No, it's
That's
not.
good.
That's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of,
Yeah, no, yeah. It's definitely not a comedy. I mean, it's not.
it's not a Christmas movie though either.
No. Well, it can be.
It could be. It's
Yeah.
winter.
Yeah. A lot of people want horror during December, but it's weird because I went in like Contain the series as a horror series because it deals with infected zombies, whatever. So that's horror, but on Amazon Prime they have us listed as sci-fi, which I understand, right? Because there's a lot of
And
sci
action.
scientific elements, and then about I think it was yesterday we
Yes.
just found out we're the like #1 action movie on Amazon. So it was
Was it? Yeah, it was.
yeah.
I took a screenshot of it.
Yeah, so it's like action. And then on Tubi, they've had us as mystery, they've had us as horror, and then
Mhm.
they've had us as sci-fi, and then they've had us as thriller. And so we've able to reach #1 on Tubi in all those categories. But it's always interesting to me that it's almost like everything but what we are.
Yeah.
So, or I guess maybe it's hard to categorize what we are, but I always tell people whenever we tell friends or family like, hey, we have this movie out now and it's a horror movie. A lot of people are worried because it's horror.
Yes.
And I would say if you're a horror fan, you would call it gateway horror.
Yeah.
And if you're not a fan of horror, I would say don't worry about it. It's
not.
Yeah, I mean it's PG-13.
Right.
We don't have any elements that would be. I mean, it's definitely not The Conjuring. It's definitely not Friday the 13th. It's
Not no.
yeah.
No. I just say it's a slow burn horror. So, and then I also sell it by saying, you have to look at it. It's like, it's our family. I mean, it's, me, us, and it's going to be something that you'll enjoy. You're not in the screen.
Sorry. Yeah.
So that's what we try to do, but I don't know.
It's like a drama horror.
Yeah.
Or horror.
Horror-rama.
Horror-rama. Yeah, that's good. Horror-rama.
Not drawer.
Yeah, it's a horror-rama. There you go. That was good. We'll have to use that.
There's kind of like a moral ambiguity element with like the Homeland Security FBI agent hiding her son's infection without spoiling anything. How was that kind of storyline important?
So that's great to pick up on. So the dynamic between the bad guy, which is the bad guy is Brett Carson, and that's played by Peter O'Meara. He's an actor actually from Ireland, and he's phenomenal character actor. So you'd have no idea he was
No.
Irish.
Not at
He
all.
was in Band of Brothers and
Nightfall.
Paul.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Nightfall.
Nightfall, and he's been on a lot of stuff. He's
Yeah.
like phenomenal actor, and we're fortunate to get him. But in any other world, his character would be the hero of the movie. He would be like, he's looking for his missing daughter. He could be Liam Neeson in Taken,
Yes.
right, in any other movie. So he's considered a mirror antagonist to the woman, her character, because they have the same goals, right?
Mhm.
The goal is to find and protect their family.
Yeah.
The only difference is the way they go about it. So they are kind of a reflection of themselves, and that's why we have a scene where there's a standoff between the two of them, and it's a, it's an important moment because really they're looking at each other, and I try to, in a very subtle way, through the lack of dialogue, they're saying essentially we see eye to eye without saying we see eye to eye.
Hmm.
And it's a kind of a power moment, and they're facing off, and it could be at any moment. He's saying, I'm coming into your home and I'm looking for my daughter, and she's saying, no, you're not, because I have my kids here and you're not stepping into my home. And so it's a moment where any second it could explode into a firefight. And because of, I don't want to spoil it, but because of essentially using her wits and Jack's wits, they're able to convince him to leave,
Yeah.
and he convince him that he's not looking in the right area for his daughter. And then he has a moment. They share this moment, which kind of is a main theme of the film. And he says, I'm just trying to find my family and
Yeah.
protect them, same as you.
Yeah.
And that's on the head, but that's the moment where essentially that's pretty much one of the overlying themes of the movie.
Yeah.
Is what would you be willing to do
For your
to
family.
protect your family?
Yes.
Yeah. And in extreme circumstances as well, right? So we've all had to go through COVID. It sucked, right?
Hmm.
But if we went through COVID and it was turning people into zombies, that would really suck, and then what would you do to protect your family, right? And that's what I think one of the elements that I love about zombie films is that I imagine always like, oh, if they're really zombies popping up everywhere. Well, I have a go bag and I
Yes.
get the kids in the car and we go up
We have a
north, and
plane.
we go
Yeah.
somewhere we hide out and we
Yeah.
have this much food, and it's fun to fantasize about that stuff because it never happened, but still, it was if it really happened in the real world, how would people react? And that's kind of the tone of the movie,
Yeah.
the setting of the movie.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. And how was it working with Peter? What was he kind of like on set and getting to know him more as a person too?
Peter, what do you want to? I guess Scott wants to say hi.
Hey,
Yeah, there you
Scott.
go. Okay, good girl. Good girl. So Peter is it's interesting. I was auditioning like 4 people for that part.
Yeah.
And the second he and I spoke,
You knew.
we spoke for like an hour, and I was like, oh, this is the guy.
Yeah.
And it's bad form to offer somebody the role on the spot when you're auditioning people. You should usually go back to your team and say, I think this person because of this or whatever.
Nope.
But he was it.
He was
And
perfect.
he's someone that likes to interrogate life's questions through making film.
Yeah.
And so he'll pick a film because he's interested in something,
Mhm.
right? And what's the question of the film and how does that affect his humanity? And so that's how he'll pick his roles, which is interesting. So I think the last time I talked to him, he's really interested about aircraft carriers. So I think he's going to try and get a film where he's like in the military in an aircraft carrier. But
Yeah.
for us, it was great. And then he was such a sport, so outside of our family being the main characters, all the bad guys essentially from LA. So
Mhm.
those are all actors from LA that I've either known or worked with or whatever. Peter, Courtney, Brett, and Christos. So they're all I knew I needed some experienced veteran actors to come in and interact with the kids and with Nick. But Peter was all in. In fact, he was so concerned. They were all concerned about our weather.
Yes.
So they I know they were Googling and looking, and they're just like, wind chill, like what is wind chill? And then they start, I'm sure in Google is giving them the worst possible answers. And so Peter was asked me, he's like, will my eyeballs freeze?
Well,
And
and he
I,
came in a few days
so
early
he
too.
came in a week early
Yeah.
he paid for himself to come in. He didn't ask us to pay for him. He paid for himself to come in a week early to climatize.
Yes.
And he liked being here so much
That
that
he stayed a
he
little.
stayed for a week late.
Yeah.
He stayed for an additional week just to hang out and tool around while we're still filming.
Hmm.
He wrapped, and then he went around all that. He's like, well, what is there to do and what is there to see? And we're like, well, go to the swing bridge, go to here, go to, go check out this park, go to whatever. And he thought, being from Ireland, he thought it was fantastic. So he was, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Inver Grove Heights gets its name from an Irish immigrant. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I told Peter. So he was like, "Oh, that's fantastic," and whatever. And but he was a sport. I mean, I think he wasn't prepared for the issues of wardrobe as well, because in the movie, I wanted the characters to have a specific look that kind of amplifies who they are. And so he had to have these rancher gloves on, and we all know that that's ridiculous in this weather, but it was good in the movie. And
Yes.
the people on the coasts don't know. And so we'd get done shooting, and he'd be outside, and then he'd be like, "Oh, Morley, I can't feel my hands. There's nothing there. Like, what shall I do? Is that okay? Are they gonna fall off?" And I'm just like, "No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Like, we're okay. Just go heat up in the van."
Yes.
And
And then put the bear rug all over him.
yeah, we had a
Big, huge
yeah.
fur. What was it? Faux fur?
Our head of wardrobe, Carrie Riley, was really good at not only dressing everybody that looked so they look great for film, but she was able to keep everybody warm. Like she had this
Yeah.
it was like bear skin, and she like would throw it over Peter as soon as I yelled cut.
Yeah.
So we'd shoot him, get a scene. He'd, a couple times, then I'd yell cut, and then she'd run over with this big bear rug and like throw it on top of him.
Hmm.
And then she had these ear muffs that wouldn't mess up his hair for hair and makeup. And so it didn't mess up his makeup and it didn't mess up his hair. And they like fit perfectly and kept his ears warm. But then he couldn't hear anything. So, I'd be talking to him and he'd be like, "What? What? I can't hear a thing."
Yeah.
And then just like, "Yep, okay, let's take him off for a second." But he was great. And then
Which was good though, because
Yeah.
all of our crew is used to this weather, even though it was super cold. I
Yeah.
mean, we had like warmers and, or whatever, hand warmers and feet warmers and all the things to keep people warm, and soup and broth and whatever. But, that was the plus about working with people here as crew, don't you
well,
think?
so that was the hard part, was that for the tougher, like so Brett Zimmerman played Donnie, who was technically Brett's son, or Peter's son-in-law. So in the movie, you have the bad guy played by Peter, and then you have his son-in-law that he doesn't like, who's played by Brett, and they're trying to be as tough, and you can see him shivering, but then when you go talk to them, like they're trying to be tough and like like, "Oh, I'm not so cold," and they're like, "Man, it is kind of freezing, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's cold." And then Jack and Brooke, our kids, would run by with like t-shirts on, like throwing snowballs at each other, and they're just like, "Oh," whatever. But it's different when you grow up here, right? So
Exactly.
we're used to it, the awesome climate, and they were not.
No.
So for them, I think they really liked it because it was something different as well,
So-
right? So
Sorry. Should I?
Yeah, they toughed it out for us here.
what's that?
They toughed it out.
Yeah.
And what I know this is your first directorial debut, technically. What kind of filmmakers or films kind of influence your approach to Uncontained?
So I do, I love movies in general, and my favorite movies to watch are, I can say like Spielberg, and I love Jaws, or Ridley Scott is a great one that I love watching. But I think as far as influencing the way I write and direct, it would be William Friedkin. And William Friedkin is great because he came from documentary filmmaking. He did a movie that I think it was called the Thin Blue Line, and I'm not sure if he got an Oscar for that or not, but he went from documentary style into shooting things like The French Connection and The Exorcist and The Sorcerer. And those are phenomenal films. And his style of trying to be as, he would say verisimilitude is important in film and, making things as real as possible. So I liked his style. But also there's an Italian director that was overshadowed he was in the 60s and 70s, and his name was Sergio Carbucci, and he did these epic westerns. And so he would make the landscape itself a character, and he would shoot in a style where he allows you to settle into the geography of where you are. So once you're settled into like, okay, I am here in the West and it's hot and it's desert, and he essentially sets you up so you feel that way. So then when he introduces you to the characters, you already have kind of a attachment to the character, and your empathy for the character, because you almost feel like you're there with them. And so he's introducing you to the character's environment before he introduces you to the character, and that allows you to be more empathetic with the character and see through their eyes. And then he would do these. He had a really great style of having a broken hero who is just this anti-hero almost, who's really good at gunfighting or really good at fighting. So really good at something, but they're so damaged because of something that happened in their past that they're broken inside. And then they come across a stranger who needs help. And usually it's a widow or a family or, whoever. And then he defends them against the bad guys, right? And the bad guys come in, and then the bad guys in their first confrontation generally take away whatever his superpower is. So they'll break that hero. So the hero might have been the fastest gun in the West, but they'll break his hands. And then the ultimate third, the end of the second act, where the climatic action is happening, where the character becomes a full hero, beats all odds and realizes who he is, even though he doesn't have whatever his superpower was. It's really who is he inside that makes him a hero. And so going against insurmountable odds, and then at the end, he never really gets what he was looking for. He doesn't really find happiness. And so that was a heavy influence for me. So, I mean, I think once you watch Uncontained, I kind of ruined it now because the big secret was it's actually a Western. So but I shot it much like a Sergio Carbucci Western, even though it's a horror. So the structure of the way the story unfolds and the way it's shot is very much, I think any film buff would be like, oh yeah, sorry, Sergio Carbucci was a major influence. And then William Friedkin as well. And also I think when people ask me, should I read what book should I read to get into filmmaking, or I want to be a filmmaker, what's the best how to be a filmmaker book? I always tell them, as from a writing standpoint, Save the Cat is the best one. It's a very short, small book. And then Sidney Lumet has a book called Making Movies. And that was by far the most helpful for me because it was like a insight into all the challenges you face as a filmmaker, and just no holds barred. He just kind of lays it all out in a very basic way, and you're just like, yep, that's exactly the way it is. Like, whatever. And it was, very helpful. So I would say those are the biggest influences.
Yeah. I think one of the best reviews that I read, which was really exciting, was when I can't remember who said it, but it was where Alpha Romero, what was his name?
George Romero.
George Romero, the guy that did
Romero.
Romero did the
Yeah.
the-
Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead,
Yeah.
would be singing his praises because of your direct, was it writing or directing or both, probably?
Yeah.
And then also the Jeremiah Johnson
Yeah.
quote,
Yeah.
that was really good too.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, that's I think that's the kind of the crazy thing about filmmaking is that, you make a film and that's really fun. Like writing is fun, filming is a blast, like
Yeah.
just being in charge of the controlled chaos. There's a bajillion things going on, and there's a bunch of stuff going, there's stuff going on and there's stuff going wrong. And it's when those two meet, how do you adapt and overcome those situations?
Yeah.
And that's kind of filmmaking in a nutshell. And that's so much fun. And everyone's working together in a common purpose and to overcome those situations. And you get a lot of filmmaking jewels out of those moments where it's like, well, we wanted to do this, but we can't now. So how do we overcome this obstacle? And overcoming that obstacle, you get extremely creative. And because of that mode of being creative, you become even more creative in what you grab on screen. But then once the movie's done and it's out and the distributor has it and you've delivered it to them, and then they say, okay, it's gonna hit on March 11th, and that's the premiere, and it'll be we'll see you at the theater. And you sit there, and that's a blast. You walk the red carpet. It's, you have all these people taking pictures, and you have all these journalists and, reporters asking you questions, and, that's a blast. And then you see everybody that was involved in the film, and they're all excited, and it's, first time everyone's going to see it. And then you have a party afterwards, and after that party, you go back to we went back to our hotel room, and you're just like, oh dear God, here come the reviews.
Yes.
Right. And
Yeah.
you're hoping against hope that the, critics know everything and everything there is about film. They know story, and they know lighting, and they know sound, and they know acting, and so they're able to break it down, and just so many. So if there's flaws, they're gonna, this is a flaw and that's a flaw and he should have done this. So you hold your breath. And the first one came out, and it was okay. It wasn't bad. And I remember being excited about that. Like, oh, it wasn't bad. And I
Yeah.
sent it to everybody. It was like 3.5 out of 5 or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
We gotta go. Okay, they liked it, uh, and then 20 minutes later, another review came in, and that one was like phenomenal.
Yes.
And that was it was almost too good to be true. And so you're just like, oh my gosh, like this is a really good review.
Yeah.
Like, is this real? And then the next one comes in, and it was also a good, and you're just like,
Wait.
oh, what? They like the film? Like, this is insane. And then, so then that feels good. You feel like now you can breathe a little.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next weird thing is, we all fly home, and then there's this week where you don't know, is anyone real gonna like the movie? Like,
Yeah.
that's great. The critics liked it. Okay.
Yeah.
But is the audience gonna like it?
Yeah.
And so you feel like, I felt like there's literal weights on my body because I was so worried that
Yeah.
no one was going to watch the movie, or they're going to think it sucked or whatever. And then we started getting horror influencers were starting to review the movie. And we had this one really big horror influencer reviewed the film, and he came out and he loved it. And he put it out, he put a post out, and he talked about how much he loved it. And that was the moment where I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
okay,
The
all
way-
right,
Yeah.
here we go. And then, because for that like week or 2 weeks after the film debuted, I was hiding up in my bedroom, sucking my thumb, crying, but but it was super stressful. Like, to be in all seriousness,
was stressful.
extremely stressful, because just like, I don't know if anyone's gonna like this. Like,
Yeah.
you hope it connects to
Mhm.
people, but
Yeah.
and then about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, all of a sudden, I started getting all these texts and emails.
Like, what's going on with
Yeah.
your?
Yeah, and people are like, "What's up with your movie?" And I'm just like, "Oh,
What are you talking about?
Did one of the actors get arrested? Like,
Yeah.
uh-oh." And then we got like 20 million views on
TikTok.
on TikTok, and then and then Instagram, we had like 5 million views, and then we're like, "Wait, what? What happened?" And then it went up by 10 million for the next 2 months, and then we go up like 10 million a month, and it's amazing because we're just like, I don't know what we did, but it worked. Like, people, I think essentially Gen Z found the film and they liked it, and so we're fortunate to have that. And then, they always say don't read the comments, or don't, as the filmmaker, don't, as a director, don't ever read the comments, or don't ever whatever. But you can't not,
Yeah.
right? Like, how do you not? So
Yeah.
we have a lot of engagement, and people argue over like, no, the boy said this, or, no, it meant this, or if you got infected, then this, or whatever. And then one of the threads was,
Oh,
There's like 200 comments in this thread, and it was about whether Scout or dog lived or not. And so it was interesting to see how angry people were. Like they're
yeah.
like, no, like they're swearing at each other and like, you idiot, and like no, and whatever, and they're arguing. So finally I was like, comment 209. I'm like, no, she definitely lives at the end. If you look at minute 97, she's in, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
And don't shake that.
no
And
spoilers.
so and then people are like arguing with me, and they're like, oh yeah, whatever, they do not. And I'm just like, and then one person was like, well, I agree with you. He does live at the end. And I'm like, no, Scout's a she. And then in all caps, he wrote, no, Scout is a he. And I was just like,
I think I know what our dog is.
it's kind of crazy. It's interesting. We've been very blessed that people, like, I'm very grateful that it's just like overwhelming amount of people like the movie.
Mhm.
And so we have a lot of great comments. And then every now and then you'll get like 1 out of 1,000 comments is negative, but they're negative for such weird reasons. Like somebody's like, the peanut butter jar, that was really a Jiffy peanut butter jar. And I'm like,
Yeah. Who cares?
that's what you noticed in the movie, was
Yeah.
that the peanut butter jar was like, what? But I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that versus like, yeah. So the only other thing that it's interesting to like, I'll Google the movie like once a month or whatever, and then or I'll Google me just because I'm curious. Like I have to look up me, and so I'll look up my name. And for the longest time, if you Googled Morley Nelson, this falconer from Montana would show up. His name's Morley Nelson, and he's got like a river named after him and a lake and a school and whatever else. And then finally, like last month, if you type Morley, my name pops up, and I was like, oh, well, finally this, I beat this dead guy. But so that was like a big, I was like happy about that. And then, but then I also noticed the most searched thing, the most searches under my name, the most popular searches are Morley Nelson Jaw.
His jaw.
And I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right, whatever, Morley Nelson Jaw and Morley Nelson ethnicity. But yeah,
Yeah.
the I get a lot of flack for my jaw, but I'll take that too. That's fine.
Yeah, I wish I had a jawline like that. I ain't got it that strong.
Yeah. Our son hates it when I go.
It's like just the mewing or whatever that
Yeah.
is.
Jack is just like, oh my gosh, why'd you do that? Don't do that in front of my friends. Like, whatever. But yeah,
It's
Yeah,
funny.
it's real. No.
immediately becomes uncool when your parents do it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
True. Any of those words that they say, it becomes uncool as soon as we start saying it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
6, 7.
Is it? Oh my gosh. Bet.
Yeah.
Fire.
Ohio.
Oh, that's so old.
Oh yeah, that's true. No cap.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And
We don't
then
even know how.
for the this red carpet event that's coming back to Eagan, especially the Imagine Theater that's in Eagan, could you tell us a little bit about the premiere and like kind of what someone who would go would expect from there?
Yeah, it's so we partnered with a fantastic charity called Winning Pathways, and they help disabled children of any ability get anything they need, anything from tutoring to scholarship money to a wheelchair, prosthetic, glasses, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever somebody needs. But they really want to focus in on helping kids in lower income communities. And so we love that. We love that they help kids. So we partnered with them, and I was involved. They have every year they do this basketball game to raise money.
For the last couple of years, yeah, they
And-
did wheelchair
Yeah,
basketball.
Yeah, wheelchair basketball. So I participated that earlier this year.
Yeah.
And then we had this idea where, if we were like, well, what could we do? Could we auction off items from the movie? How can we help in some way? And then we just kind of came up with this idea to do a red carpet where it would be an LA style red carpet. We could have it here, and people could come to the Imagine Theater, walk the red carpet, get their pictures taken. They can get their pictures taken, by themselves. They can get their pictures taken with us. They can get pictures
Yeah.
taken with, whatever they want to do, but it's a red carpet arrival, just like you would do in LA. You walk through the red carpet, there's a step and repeat, uh, come in, mingle, and then go into the EMX theater, the, ultra awesome wraparound theater that Egan has, and then make your ears bleed sound, Atmos sound, and then enjoy the movie with what you get, popcorn and pop.
Popcorn and and soda and yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, and then there'd be a Q&A afterwards.
yeah, and then I'll do a Q&A afterwards, and I'll take questions from the audience. I'll talk about the movie. Some of the cast will be there.
Yeah.
Besides us and our family, we'll have the woman that played the wife, Allison Crandall. She'll be there, and we might have a few other surprises. But yeah, it should be a really. It's a night of. It's supposed to be enjoyable, and you're supposed to, if you want to dress up, you can dress up. If you want to look stylish, you can look stylish. Come, meet people, talk.
It's for a good cause. I mean,
Yeah.
100% of the proceeds are going to this charity. We're not making $1, not $1. We're selling any DVDs that we're selling, any t-shirts that we're going to sell, any of that. None of it is going to us. It's all going to them because we just really believe in the cause.
Yeah.
So we're really excited for that partnership. And they've become friends. So more friends than they were before.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
And we're really excited. And the reason why they started it all was because of their son. And so it either starts as, when it comes to people that are with different abilities, I guess you would say, it's either born with something that they don't have, or it's an incident. So they got in a car accident or whatever, where they end up losing an appendage, or they're unable to do something. So it's getting them able to do something in accessible ways. And so I just think that's cool, because there's nothing more devastating to have money be the cause of, that joy, and that, being able to have those successes and achievements just because you don't have money. So it's good for them to.
Yeah, I think I like how they said the idea is you don't, there's a lot of kids that watch their brothers or sisters or their friends play from their bedroom window, right? Because they don't have the ability to be mobile. And they want to provide that ability just so they can just get out of their bedroom and go play.
Yeah.
And that's just such a basic thing that everyone should enjoy. And, it's important to us. So I have to have a timeout because our dog has to go potty. So you keep talking,
Okay.
but
Well, and I just wanted to do a shout out for Imagine Theater, just because and I don't know what the other Imagine Theaters are like. I just know that we've been working with Jessica, and I don't know if it's Geese or Geesey, who we've been working with, but we've talked to a number of different theaters, and hands down, the customer service and when you walk into the theater, it is just such a warm and welcoming space, that we wanted the experience to feel that way, like a LA kind of vibe. But I mean, to be able to work with somebody to plan an event like this and have her be so accommodating and such a strong partner speaks volumes. I love her. I can't say enough about her.
yeah, that's why it's good to live in the South Metro.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and the Imagine Theaters are like
Yeah,
the
that's where
theater we go
Yeah.
to for, I mean, we were there twice in 2 days. That last over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting that I hope theaters survive, if Netflix does purchase HBO and Warner Brothers. It's theater's such a great experience because you get to enjoy something on a communal level, right? Like when I feel like you can watch something on your phone and you can watch something at home on your big screen, and that's fine. But when you're watching a movie and everyone laughs at the same time, or everyone's like scared at the same time, there's something about that feels good, right? And I hope we don't lose that, because it's such a great thing. Or like we went to Zootopia 2 with our kids, and to listen to an audience full of kids giggling at the same time,
that
it's
was
just
pretty cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the theaters definitely have their place with something about in person, because I feel, as we become more online every year now, especially with AI and all that, definitely doing something in person with other people is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the Imagine Theater. We've worked with them with some stuff before, and they're just great people over there.
Good. Yeah, I love them.
And I was curious, how did you first get to know the people behind Winning Pathways?
So I worked with Todd. I work at Allianz Life Insurance Company in Golden Valley, and Todd and I had been colleagues for a number of years. I've been there for 13 and a half years, and he was there for like many years before that. And then we were also, I was right there alongside of him when their son got in the accident. And so we became close that way. And so we did a few of us at work, we helped make these bracelets, like the rubber bracelets for he and his family to get through what they were going through because it was extremely scary and devastating what was happening to their son. And they're lucky he's alive. I mean, it was that touch and go. And so because of that, I think that you make this connection, and then for him to go through, he and his wife go through what they did as a family. They decided to their life changed drastically. One was because they didn't know that there were so many things that were out there. Here they are with their son, and I think that happens a lot when you are personally impacted by something, and then you need to find or seek some sort of solution, and this is where my project management hat comes in. You're looking for a solution to something that you are challenged with. And so this is something that they came to, was building this foundation to help other children because they saw how much their son grew and regained confidence and felt like he was doing something when he got his prosthetic leg, and then when he started doing wheelchair basketball. I mean, it just changed their family of like 100%. And so then they opened up the foundation, and they're such good people, I mean, just to be able to, see what was driving them, obviously their son, but then knowing and seeing that this is not just their son out there and that they could do more with it. So,
Mhm. Yeah. And I know we'll have the Give Butter link in the show notes. I know there's
oh,
a
good.
few VIP spots right now, but they'll probably be gone by the time this is uploaded. So, and there's general admission too. And
Yeah.
for that kind of raffle you were talking about, is that will that be at the event actually, or will it just be done after the fact?
Raffle. Oh, you mean like for the DVDs and stuff, or what
Yeah,
raffle?
yeah.
Yeah. So we're right now we're trying to sell all the seats as many seats as possible for the event.
Mhm.
And then we're also selling DVDs that are signed by our family,
Yeah.
and even Scout will
And
sign it.
Scout's gonna sign it.
Yeah, and then it's got special features on it like director's commentary, and that'll be a limited edition run for the DVDs, and then there'll be a lot number on them or whatever. So those will be like physical media collection, but 100% of that will go to, I think they're $40, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
$40.
so $40, and it's tax deductible, and 100% of that will go to Winning Pathways, and then we're talking about potentially doing a bunch of T-shirts, like unique T-shirts, so limited print T-shirts. I don't know, for 100 of them or whatever, and then if people want us to sign them or whatever, we'll do that, or they just want them because they like them,
Yeah.
we'll have that as well. And again, 100% of that will also go to
Yeah.
Winning Pathways.
And or were you talking about the tickets that you were gonna do because on the podcast?
Oh,
Is that what you're talking about?
no, mostly about the DVDs and stuff like that and the T-shirts.
Okay.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we are
Okay.
gonna have the giveaway going. It'll be live by the time that this podcast goes live, so you will see more about
Awesome.
that on the Facebook and Instagram page. Winner will be announced
Awesome.
the Friday before. I think it's Friday the 13th.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
great. Wait, no, that's not Friday the 13th, is it? If the 15th is a Monday, I think it's the 12th.
Ah,
I'm sorry.
that's close.
Do it. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Oh yeah, Saturday. My bad. The 12th.
That's okay. I was super
You got me,
excited.
yeah, you got me really excited there, Brady. What the heck?
No. Do it Saturday, like Friday, or
Yeah.
just kidding. But yeah, no, we're excited. I mean, obviously, we're excited to have other people come in and experience it through your, through the South Metro
Yeah.
scoop.
Yep.
I love that South Metro scoop.
And then, yeah, well, and we're looking forward to screenings are a blast. Like I don't think, it's the experience of getting to go to the movie and seeing the movie in gigantic, mind-blowing aspect, and then but also walking the red carpet is a blast.
Yeah.
And it just we've probably done, I don't know how many we've done, but it's always fun to do, like, go to red carpets and
Participate.
yeah, because it's not just, I mean, walking the red carpet is, that's fun for photos and stuff, right? But what actually is fun is the like mingling before and after.
Yeah.
So there's always, like, in every red carpet, for whatever reason, there's like a big glump of people before the red carpet, and you end up just talking, and everyone's nervous, and they're like, "You walk the red carpet. No, you walk the red carpet. No, you do it. No,
Yeah.
you do it." And everyone's like, "Oh, well, you go first." And so it's always fun doing that, and then meeting people there. And then after you walk the red carpet, for some reason, it's like you just ran a marathon. And everyone's like, "Oh, wow, that was really, oh." And then sometimes if you want, the like certain reporters or whatever will ask a question like, "Oh, who are you and why are you here? And what, are you excited to see the movie, whatever." And some people do really well with that, and some people don't. So it's like a survival experience almost. And then you get to the end of the red carpet, and it's like, "Oh man, you did really good with that question," or that one's like, "Oh, I sucked," and you're like, "Oh, it's okay, it's
Yeah.
okay," whatever. But that's in reality, it's so much fun,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
that's fun. And then getting into the theater and sitting down, and then well, I'll probably somebody will introduce the movie. I don't know. I don't want to say who that is yet, but someone will introduce the movie, and then afterwards I'll do a Q&A, and I like participating in those, but I also like watching those, because you get so much more information after you just watched something, and then you get to interact with the people that made it.
Yep.
And that's always like coming fresh off watching the movie, and then being able to interact with whether it's the cast or the crew or whoever. It's just really interesting to talk to them and to hear, like, "Oh, well, in actuality, I broke my arm doing that," or, "What was that? So in this scene, did this happen, or could you clarify that?" And you're like, "Well, actually, that wasn't," and you find out, like,
The details.
right.
Yeah.
So
More so, yeah, even more so than the like the director's cut.
yeah, because the director's commentary, we just kind of talk about what, as you're watching the movie, you
Mhm.
talk about, well, this is, and I, I think the biggest advantage for me making movies has been listening to director's commentaries. So while I'm watching the movie, I'll listen to usually it's the director and one of the cast members or whatever. And I think those are invaluable, and it's too bad that we're losing those, because people don't buy DVDs as much or rent DVDs as much. But a lot of, I'd say, of all the educational tools I've had as a filmmaker, director's commentaries, I highly recommend. That's by far
Yeah.
been the best.
Yeah. I
Right.
would say yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So those are interesting. But the one thing I wish I had with every single director's commentary is if I could have just asked one question.
Yeah.
Right. And if, listening to whether it's Spielberg or
James Cameron.
yeah, it's always like, "Oh, I wish I could have asked him this question. I
Mhm.
know he's saying this,
Yeah.
but if that happens, what about this?"
Yeah.
Right? Or why didn't you do this? Or what, so it's always interesting because they say what they think is important. And then you're like, "Okay, but but why?" And then sometimes they don't even delve into why. So it's always nice to be able to do that during a live Q&A. So, and then it's just fun afterwards. Everyone comes out, and they talk about it, and it's just, again, being there, seeing with people is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For those who can't be there, it's already it's already streaming Amazon Prime, like you mentioned, Screenbox, I believe, and Tubi. Is there anywhere else that people can watch it?
Yep, so you can watch it on Apple, Roku, Tubi, Google Play, YouTube Plus, or whatever it is,
Whatever the
YouTube Red or
Red.
whatever it is. You have to rent it on YouTube though.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can watch it for free on Tubi. Is a great one to watch it on.
Yeah.
You don't have to, Tubi, you don't have to pay anything. You just have to watch a few commercials. And then if you have Amazon Prime, watch it on Amazon Prime, because that's by far I think it's we probably get the most people watch us on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And we have it's really weird to watch, to like turn on Amazon right now. Like yesterday I turned on Amazon and it said, up came like I was scrolling through like drama, movie of the week, whatever, and then it said action, and like their movie was right next to like Batman. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, our movie's not action packed, but second of all, it's just like every now and then a category will surprise me. I'm just like, oh, that's our movie,
Yeah.
So, and then I listen to the director's commentary. No, I don't.
No.
But
Dork.
Yeah, pretty much they can watch it anywhere that they want, essentially.
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I think we'll probably, I said at some point next year we'll probably be on Netflix, and we'll probably be on Disney at some point, and then whatever else. But right now we've been doing those rounds on. We have a deal with Amazon for 3 months,
Yeah.
so
Sure.
that's where you can find us.
Yeah. And Morley, I know I was looking at your IMDb. You got some stuff coming up. Can you share about those couple things that you're in?
So yes, I can and can't. So we are working on. I have a special project coming up with 4 independent horror filmmakers. So I have one project with Aaron Bennett, who did a Batman Joker movie called Joker's Wild, and so we're working on something with Dennis Kahlo, Bethany Watson, who did a TV series called The Trouble with Tessa, and then which I think is on Tubi right now, and then Anthony Cousins, who's another Minnesota filmmaker, and he did Frogman, and he just shot Frogman 2. So, and Anthony actually worked on our movie with us too. But so Anthony, Bethany, Dennis, Aaron, and I have a series that we're working on that we just announced, and we haven't solidified the deal with the studio that we're working with yet, so we have to wait for them to announce it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I can't say what it is until the studio announces, so I don't get in trouble. But we're really excited about that, and that'll shoot in February. And then we have the prequel to Uncontained, and so we'll probably be shooting that in February. We'll be shooting them, back to back, and we'll be shooting them here. So we're pretty excited about that. And then I have one pretty big announcement that I can't say anything to, but the kids are super excited. So I can say that, like the once I said, hey, and that's just strictly acting, but I got an acting gig that the kids are super excited about. And
Me too.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was super, I guess I'll tease it by saying
Your jaw will be emphasized.
the last 3 letters of the character's name is,
Don't say anything. Don't
Okay,
say it.
yeah.
No. God,
it's
it's just super cool. We're excited.
it is super cool.
Yeah.
And the last 3 letters of the character is man, but
The man.
no, yeah, no. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
And Morley, do you have any kind of advice for aspiring filmmakers or actors that are here in the South Metro that might be listening?
Yeah. Just continue to act. Whatever you do, just keep your acting muscles going. I don't care if it's acting in front of the television and reacting to whatever, but reach out. There's a great community here of so it's interesting here in the metro area. We have a ton of commercials that are shot, and so we have a lot of excellent crew that know what they're doing. And then we also have a lot of great actors, and it's just a matter of meeting those people and coming together and being able to shoot stuff. And if you can shoot a short, if you can shoot whatever, but I think probably the best advice, and I'm going to say this advice, and I just realized, one thing that's really tough here in Minnesota is that we don't have great film incentives, right? We have a film incentive, but in order to qualify for that film incentive, you have to have $1 million, right? Your budget has to be $1 million. So that doesn't really help independent filmmakers,
Yeah.
right? So there's a lot of people that are creative and a lot of people that could use some kind of film financing or film assistance. that we just don't have available as a state, which is too bad because we could really foster a great filming community here.
Mhm.
But and not much, and it's not that difficult to do because there's a great model in Minnesota. It's up in Duluth, where Duluth and St. Louis County have these incentives where you get 25% cash reimbursement from the city of Duluth if you film in Duluth, and then you get another stackable 25% back from
St.
St.
Louis.
Louis County,
Mhm.
and those are cash reimbursements. So that really, they've been able to foster a great small independent filmmaker community. And I think because of that, not only are you educating people in a new trade to be, you know, gaffers and grips and electricians, but on top of that, you have the next generation of filmmakers that are going to come out of Minnesota are probably going to come from that area. And I wish we could do something like that in the
Yeah.
South Metro. That
Yeah.
would be fantastic because we have so many awesome areas that we can shoot in,
Yes.
right? Like there's so many places that you could shoot. I mean, I would love to shoot in certain areas of Rosemount,
Is it Hastings or that?
where Dakota City is.
Yeah, that,
Like you can't not walk through Dakota City,
yeah.
right? And as a filmmaker, I'm thinking like, oh man, we could shoot this way and we could shoot this, and there's so many different. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
the production value would be phenomenal to shoot there. But anyhow, the point is, if we had better incentives to help struggling filmmakers, that would be fantastic because that you have a whole industry that we could create here, a whole bunch of jobs that we could create out of that and long lasting jobs. But the other thing the other great aspect would be we would then lure productions from other states to come and shoot here. And the biggest problem we have as a country right now is that because of the incentives in Ireland and Australia and Saudi Arabia now, their incentives are so much better than anything we offer in the United States that all the big studios are going overseas to make movies and to make television series. So it's really tough to be competitive with foreign countries, and it's really tough to be competitive with other states.
Mhm.
And so ideally, if Explore Minnesota, the film board could figure out how do we foster and invest in our own film community, how do we do that? That would be, phenomenal. And I think we could really achieve, the next generation of talent through that. And we could lure at the same time some great projects here. And
Mhm.
we do have great projects that do shoot here, but just it's few and far in between. So, but with that in mind, and as hard as this is going to sound, the best piece of advice I've ever gotten has been from an agent who said, you can't keep hoping that one of your scripts is going to make it. And
Yeah.
you can't keep hoping you're going to get cast in something fantastic. Like if you really want to get going, you just have to do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
And that was the best advice I ever had because then I was just like, yep,
Yep.
let's just do it. And we did it. And, I feel like I've probably wasted 5 years.
Not doing that.
I could have done that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And, it would have been before COVID and everything else. But it's interesting because I think in this industry is a lot of dream selling, right? Like there's this idea that you're one role or one script or one production away from mega success. And, that the thing that sucks is that does happen,
Mhm.
right? So people are like, it happens.
Yeah,
Like just like winning the lottery happens, right? Like it happens.
it
Right?
does.
But as a career, you just cannot bank on any of that, and you just have to keep pushing forward no matter
keep
what.
working.
And I always have, there's a lot of moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, like we don't have, like I feel like there's just constant roadblock after roadblock after roadblock,
Yeah.
and it's almost hard sometimes to feel like there's any optimism whatsoever. But if you want to be successful, like in any career, you just have to keep pushing forward, and you keep having to have a lot of options. And I think don't bank on just one thing
Mm-mm.
as a filmmaker, bank on multiple things,
Yeah.
right? So if you can have, you know, I can't emphasize networking enough.
Mhm.
If people want to reach out to me, absolutely reach out to me. If I can help you in some way and give you advice, you know, absolutely, I'd love to do that. like if people are serious about, any kind of questions like how do I get into it, or I have been into it for 10 years and I'm at a plateau, what do I do? If there's anything I can do or connects I can make, people should feel free to reach out to me and just, you know, get on Instagram and DM me or whatever. I may not be the fastest at getting back to you, but I will get back to you.
All right. And where can people follow you?
So I always recommend people check out, like, the go-to for anything to do with film or television is IMDb. Like, go to IMDb, you get it. It's like a great aggregate for all the news from the Variety, Deadline, the Wrap, so the most current trades in Hollywood. Uh, it posts that on their homepage. But then if you want to look up anything and everything to do with film and television, they have the best search and the most probably the most accurate. Not saying that everything's correct on there, but they do a good job. And then you can find, if you want to see what I'm up to, just follow me on Instagram. I'm at Morley_Nelson
Mhm.
on Insta. So I'm also on TikTok, but I just started that, like, only because all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you get 20 million views on TikTok," and so I just started, and I have five followers. Whereas if you follow me on Instagram, I have at least 20.
20.
So I have a huge following on Instagram versus TikTok.
Yes, I would
But
say that.
yeah, so it's that's good. And then Nick is
No,
also,
nowhere.
yeah,
LinkedIn.
yeah, LinkedIn.
I do not know how to do any of that stuff. Nope, not good.
Yeah, I don't either, but I'm on there. I post, do a story at least once a day about something that I think is funny
Yeah,
in our dog or
our
kids
kids
or
or
something.
whatever. Yeah.
But I try and be funny. Like, if dad humor wasn't taken as a handle, I would have used that. But for now, it's Morley_Nelson.
Thank you, Morley and Nicole, for taking time out of your day to come on the South Metro Scoop podcast. Once again, the Give Butter tickets will be in the show notes description below, as well as Morley's social profiles and where you can learn more about the film.